Hi, Kevin from Snowy's Outdoors here, and I'm going to show you how to set up the Aerobase 3 Pro air shelter from Zempire, and also how to deflate it and pack it away. Now these air shelters are very easy to set up. They have air poles with their own pump to help inflate them, and it comes with 4 brow poles that help keep its shape and also makes it more stable. Now the weight of this shelter is about 17.5 kilos. It is 37 centimeters across it and 34 centimeters deep, and that's about 74 centimeters long. Comes in a nice durable bag. Got these D-rings on here that helps pull it all together. I'll just open that up. See, they can be a little bit fiddly, but they hold really well. And of course, I've got some zippers up at the top here, all the way down around to the base at the bottom of the bag. Let's have a look, see what we've got inside. Now in the bag, you have your set of instructions. They are sewn in there, so you shouldn't be able to lose them. You need to read those carefully when you're actually setting this up. Make sure you understand it all. You also have a set of poles, what they call brow poles. They go across the openings. You've got your pegs. They include sand pegs as well as steel pegs, and there's guy ropes in there as well. Now this is a wall. With this shelter, you get a sun wall that goes on one end. You can actually buy extra walls as accessories. You have your main shelter, which is this one here. And of course, you've got your pump that you use for pumping it up. And of course you have some fittings here. Now one is a valve, one is a pressure gauge. You need to be aware of what pressure it goes up to. So the pressure gauge goes onto the valve, and the valve goes into the top of the pump. And that is where you would attach your hose to when you're ready to pump it up. Okay, so first of all, we need to lay it out. Now there's no orientation to this, it doesn't matter which way you face it. There's no front or back. Now as you can see, there's these straps. They actually go on the ground, so when you roll it out initially, the thing is actually upside down. So what we'll do is we'll just flip it over, and that's pretty easily done. This is something that would be a lot easier if 2 people were doing. Just take a bit less time. So now it's starting to get a bit of a breeze up today. As you can see, the thing's trying to take off on us, so very important. One of the first things you do is to peg down all the corners of the shelter. So you can see on the end of the leg there is a D-ring. Just put the tent peg in that. Once again, we've got nice soft ground, so it goes in easy. And you've got to do that on every corner. Make sure you stretch it out as you go. You see I'm getting these straps nice and tight and firm. And it helps it keep its shape. Legs can be a little bit twisted, so just make sure they're correct. You can see I'm just pulling that nice and tight. Not overly tight, just nice and firm. And there it is, pegged down. Now once you've got your peg in, make sure it's square, because if it's skewed, the wall that you get with it won't go on it properly. Now you've got 2 Boasting valves, one on adjacent legs. Boasting valve is a valve that allows you to put air in and won't allow air to escape. You can see a little flap in there. So that screws into the outer sleeve. Make sure it's nice and tight. If it leaks, it'll go down. And of course, that's an outside cap, and I'll show you that on the other valve when I pump it up. Make sure both those caps are nice and tight. Right, so let's pump it up. We'll head over to the other one. This is the Boasting valve this end. Once again, make sure the bottom valve is tight. Open up the cap. You can see that's now open. And we'll get our pump. And that screws straight on top of the Boasting valve. Nice and tight like that. Now there's 2 of these, as I said. You really only need to attach it to one to pump this up. Now this pump is a dual action pump. You have a little lever just there, which means you can actually pump while it's drawing up and down, or if you want to, you can flip it over so it sucks air in and it only pumps on the downward stroke. I'm going to use it on a dual thing, so it gives me a bit of speed. Now it's just a matter of pumping the air tent up. You better exercise doing this. Sometimes you've got to stop and just give it a little bit of a lift, help it get it into its shape. This is being good if you had 2 people, then one person can help hold it up and keep it into its shape quicker. Okay, we're up around 6 psi now. It's getting almost there. So it's taking shape. You can put a bit more pressure into it. I recommend up to 7 and then up to 9. Okay, so we've reached about 7 psi. We're now going to put the brow poles in. Now I've got 3 of them already assembled. They're very easy to put together. They've got a little bungee cord inside it. As you can see, they just all assemble themselves quite nicely. I've got other 3 of them already laid out around, so I can easily put them in. Now let's whack a couple of them in. These go inside. So there's a little pocket in here that's been stitched in. The end of the pole goes into that pocket. And then we go up to the other side. Give that a bit of a push. And we push it into a little pocket on that end. And then we push the pole up. A little bit of Velcro up there holds the pole into place. And then we do the other 3. So it only takes a couple of the poles and it's already taking shape. And our final pole. Okay, now you'll see that there's actually 3 little Velcro tabs on each wall. This keeps the brow pole in place. Now there's those 3 Velcro tabs on each wall. And they all need to be done up so the tent doesn't move around. You can see it's much more stable now that it's got those brow poles in. I just want to draw your attention to just here, the configuration of these poles. You can see that the brow pole goes across to the slot on the next wall. It doesn't go on this wall, it goes onto the next wall. And this brow pole does exactly the same. So you have this crossover just here. That's very important because the brown poles just won't fit otherwise. So I'll go and put the rest of the tabs on. So once you've got those Velcros on, just want to draw your attention to these straps. Now these are locating straps. They're there to ensure that you don't have the legs pegged out too wide. They are a bit of a tripping hazard. So what we do is we unclip them. They can unclip from one end on each one. Now these can come off. Just roll them up. Pop it in the sleeve on the corner. You do the same with the one across the middle. You take all 4 straps off and put them in out of the way. That way no one has a nasty trip. We can do that on all the 4 straps. I'll do those a bit later. So what we're going to do now is put the wall on. Now the shelter comes with 1 wall as part of the package. You can purchase extra walls as accessories, which you can do at a later time if you want to. So they zip on. So we start one end here. Double zipper all the way in and just start zipping it up. Now as you zip it up, you'll notice that there's actually an inside and outside of the wall. This has a fly mesh on it as well, and I'll show you that in a second. So now there is an inside and outside of the wall. Inside is very easy to see. You've got these zippers on the inside. If you unzip them, you see you have a nice big fly screen there. So you can actually have this open, let the breeze through, or if it's a bit drafty, you can actually zip that back up again and keep the wind out. Now, when you put the wall on, as you're getting down the end here, you may find that it's getting a bit tight. If that's the case, you may have to unpeg your leg and move it out or move it in, depending which way, so that you get a nice, neat fit, just like that. And of course, if you want to, you can also peg them down and keep it from flapping away. You've got loops along the bottom of the wall as well, that also helps it stop flapping. Now, of course, you have to peg down all 4 corners. On each wall, at the end of the wall, there's a little loop, and you can peg that down like that. And that has to be done on the other end and around the corner here and all the 4 walls. You also get these. Now, these are a sand peg. Of course, these things might go down to a beach or somewhere. These are very handy for putting in the sand. They don't pull out so easily, and you get a set of those with it as well. It is also very, very important to put down a guy rope, a peg in a guy rope. As you can see, these are supported in the center and both ends. They've got 1 guy rope, so that would stretch out and be pegged down out here. And once again, very important that those go on. If these things take off in the stiff wind, they can really cause some damage. So they're quite safe so long as they're well and truly pegged down. Very, very important. So that's all it is to erecting the Aerobase 3 Pro air shelter. Now I'm going to show you how to deflate it and how to pack it away. Now, first of all, we need to obviously remove the wall from the side of the shelter. Because we had to remove these straps to stop from tripping over, we now have to put them back on again. This will help you locate the pegs, the poles, next time you assemble the shelter. Back on, and we put the cross one on as well. So we take out the brow poles next, undo these Velcro tabs, pull the pole down, take it out of their slots. Now these are very easy to fold up, just like a lot of poles these days. Okay, that aside, we do the same with the other 4 walls. So we're going to take out all of the pegs except the corner pegs, which is these ones just here. They're the last thing to come out. Also, any of the guy ropes that have been still attached, make sure undo all of those as well. So to deflate the shelter, we'll go over to the Boasting valve and we slowly unscrew it. And you'll hear it starting to leak air out, and it'll come out with a rush in a minute. And there she goes. So now that that's out, we need to undo the other Boasting valve as well, that allow the air to escape from this tube, because when we roll it up, we've got to squash all the air out of it. This is where we can now take out the corner pegs. So all 4 pegs come out from the corners. Okay, so we lay the bag down up here. Now this gives us a good idea of the size the shelter has to be when it folds up. Now we're going to start rolling from the other end, so that when we roll it, all the air is pushed out of those Boasting valves. But first of all, we fold the sides over. I've had a bit of a we will just make sure they're all fold over nice and neat. It's a little bit ungainly because you've got the 4 legs. It can be a bit awkward looking. I have to do a bit of juggling to get it into the right shape. Try and get it into a shape that's about the same size as that bag. Make it a lot easier to get it in. And start rolling. As I'm rolling this way, I'm pushing the air out of those tubes. So it's quite important to make sure everything's neat and tidy. Otherwise it bunches up and it makes it very hard to get it back into the bag. So we've got a couple of straps here. These are what were tied around the tent when we took it out. We need to put them back around the tent again. Set that on top of the bag. So you've got all of the back in the bag. You've got your wall, got the pump, got the poles down there, and of course your pegs down there as well. Let's get that zipper started. Okay, so they're all back in its bag. I still have a couple of straps here you can put across if you wanted to tie it up. But that's all I've got for now on the Aerobase 3 air shelter from Zempire. Now, if you want any more information on this or any other products, go to our website, snowy.com.au, where we have the lowest prices every day. So if you want to subscribe, click up here. If you want to watch any more videos, please click over here. And if you want to ask a question, leave a comment down below.